My name is what? My name is who? My name is Still Talk Sports. Let's get it. This is Still Talk Sports.
As the intro said, this is Still Talk Sports. We're back with another episode. Again, going to schedule it. We're the best show on the internet, sports show on the internet, talking about sports, breaking them down, funny, comedic, everything that you can think of is what Still Talk Sports embodies. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys and appreciate all of you joining along. Going forward, I think this is going to be live every single week. I'm going to try to do it at about either midday or 4:30 Central Time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below so I can make that schedule for you. But without further ado, we're going to do both college football in this video as well as NFL. We're going to go college football first and then NFL, just like we did in my previous videos. I think this is going to be the format going forward. And we're going to have a guest here soon, someone else to talk about sports with, someone bounce off it, maybe make a little podcast, a little funny. So we'll see, man. Really excited for the future and being able to do this. And I appreciate y'all being here. I know some of you probably saw the Marvel Rivals video, but, we're all everything. We're doing less. We're all encompassing, man. And we're going to make it happen. So without further ado, Week 5, college football. Probably the best week of college football so far based on rankings and kind of how everything's going there. So really, really excited to see what we got going on this week. So Week 5, college football kicks off with tomorrow, Friday, with the Florida State Seminoles and the Virginia Cavaliers. Again, Florida State's been my pick since after Alabama game to win the national championship and Thomas Castellanos to win the Heisman. It's still my pick. I'm going to ride with the Florida State Seminoles. I've been riding with them. They fell to 8, which is, I think, complete bullshit and horseshit. Texas is somehow ranked above them, I think, still, which I'm taking Florida State over Texas any day of the week. I've seen enough from March to tell you that. But Florida State only favored by 6.5 on the road. I don't know what they know about Virginia that I don't know. Their quarterback, Cade Morris, okay, his dad used to be coach at SMU, so I know a little bit about him. Virginia is always one of those teams that, can make some things happen and get some good wins and, upsets. But Florida State, I think, is poised this year after that 2-10 last year. I think they're bouncing back and showing why they should be where they should be as a team. So I'm riding with Florida State. 6.5 I like. I'm going to take Florida State 6.5. Again, this isn't gambling advice. It's just what I'm saying. It's usually money line picks that I'm doing and just picking. I think Florida State's going to be too much to handle with Gus Malzahn and that coaching staff. So next game, also tomorrow night, is TCU Arizona State, which is another great game. Arizona State's favored. Game's in Tempe. TCU, went from kind of an unknown, not talked about team at the beginning of the year to being one of the better teams that's kind of coming up and making things happen. And that's the Sonny Dykes special. He'll go to a program. They'll be bad for a couple years and they'll start being dominant. But wait, let me flip it back real quick, back to Florida State, Virginia, because my boy, Garrett Anderson, G-Trey, my follower, I appreciate you being here, but he picked Virginia over Florida State, and all I got to say is I'm not going to do it on YouTube, but you know what I mean. So appreciate you, love you, and he's a Miami guy, so you know how it is. So anyways, TCU, Arizona State. Arizona State's over at 3.5 at home. What I was saying about TCU is TCU is one of those teams that hasn't been talked about most of the year, but I've watched them consistently now over a few weeks. I watched them against SMU last week, and I guess watched them against North Carolina when they stomped on them. And Hoover is really impressive. I think it's Josh. Josh Hoover is really, really good at quarterback. And TCU's got the system in place. And, of course, Sonny Dykes is Sonny Dykes. But we're going with the Forks. Fork them or you know what. We're going with Arizona State. Kenny Dillingham. And then Leavitt, Sam Leavitt, I think, is the quarterback. They had one unfortunate loss in the beginning of the year when they should have been 10th in the country. But I think Arizona State's still a really, really good team. Kenny Dillingham's a great coach. But this is going to be a toss-up game. I think this game's going to go either way. The only reason I'm picking Arizona State a lot, mostly over TCU, is the home factor. Of course, being home helps, especially in college. So it's going to be a toss-up nonetheless. It's going to be a great game. I like both coaches. I like both quarterbacks. And that's the tough part. When I like both coaches and quarterbacks, it's going to be tough. But riding with Arizona State, but I think it's going to be the toss-up of the week. And, we'll see from there. Next game, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. Okay, so we got Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. Okay, so Yeah, Wake Forest 2-1, Georgia Tech 4-0 this year. I know Wake Forest at home, but Georgia Tech has just been on a tear. Haynes King is the truth. Jamal Haynes, the running back, is a beast of a running back. Runs really, really hard for his size and makes it happen. And Georgia Tech's got one of those offenses that's just tough to stop. I mean, it's kind of like a read option, kind of triple option type of thing that they run. Pass a little bit more than they used to in the past, but still kind of a branch of that triple option type of offense. And Haynes King's been there, he's done that, he's had the experience, and he's making it happen this year. I think Georgia Tech's going to be one of those teams, especially not even just in the ACC, but in college football, that's going to surprise some teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if they play Georgia later and they beat Georgia. I mean, that game last year was, I think, 7 overtimes, which was insane. Georgia ended up winning because Georgia loves those cardiac games, and they ended up winning those. But Georgia Tech is no slouch, and their coach is really, really good, and I think I can go from there. One sec, I got to drink my water. Bang. Next game, first of the top 25 matchups that I'm seeing, which I'm really excited about. We got USC versus Illinois. USC 4-0, looking like Lincoln Riley's finally got his system in place and the team in place that he wants at USC to make something happen in that Big Ten. On the other hand of it, Illinois just absolutely fucking embarrassed last week by Indiana. Kurt Signetti said he should keep saying Google me because he beat them down. Illinois looked outmatched, outcoached. They looked out-hustled, out-physicaled, out-everything. So Illinois, I think they got to get back on track. I don't know if they will after what I saw. I mean, that was an embarrassment. Like, they got embarrassed. And I get they were on the road, but you're the higher-ranked team. It's your state rival out of, like Indiana and Illinois were in a battle because they're right next to each other. But I don't know. Illinois didn't impress me at all last week. USC did impress me a little bit. Jordan Maeva from Las Vegas, from UNLV, is playing really well for USC, and I think Lincoln Riley's got it done. So I want to ride with USC. I haven't watched a lot of USC this year, but I'm going to ride with them. Just because of what I saw from Illinois last week. I think Illinois might get the bounce back and play a lot better, and they probably will, but I just think USC's going to be too much to handle, especially after how I saw they handled, Indiana's offense. So next game, we got Notre Dame, Arkansas. I know everyone's going to say, I'm going with Notre Dame. I'm not going for Notre Dame. I'm going with Arkansas. I think Arkansas is a better team. I think Notre Dame is always overrated every single year. They've been overrated every single fucking year since like 1970 when they were actually good. They haven't been good in, I don't know. They've been good, but they play no conference. They play no good teams. They play nobody. They play fucking one team a year, and if they beat them, they get in the playoff, and if they don't, they don't. It's like they're not playing anyone good. They're in no conference. It's independent bullshit that they are. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, get in a conference, Notre Dame. You're not special. Oh, we're Notre Dame. It's like, when's the last time you won a national championship, man? It's like the Dallas Cowboys. No. Do something and let me know, man. That's what I'm talking about. We're going with Arkansas. 2 just terrible losses for Arkansas, by the way, which I hate to see because Arkansas is not a bad team. But 2 just choke of losses. Fumbles in the worst mistakes. Just terrible, man. That's bad coaching, and it's unacceptable. You got to make it happen. But Notre Dame, I'm riding against Notre Dame. I'm riding with Arkansas. I think Arkansas' team's really good. I think Sam Pittman's got the right coaching staff, and Notre Dame hasn't impressed me this year. I mean, Carr, the quarterback, hasn't shown me much. 5 stars, fucking 4 stars. I don't give a fuck how many stars you are, man. That's bullshit. Best quarterbacks in the NFL, how many stars were most of them? 1 or 0. Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. So I never want to hear this star bullshit again, man. It's such a scam that college football does, and maybe I got a little anger because of what happened, but, that's how it is. But Arkansas, I like them in the game. They're the more physical team. They're the better team. They're SEC. They're gonna dominate, and at home. So, in Notre Dame, yeah. Next game, we got Vanderbilt, Utah State. Utah State's, solid this year, but they haven't played anyone. Vanderbilt played Vanderbilt with Diego Pavia. Somehow, some way, is just a dominant team that makes things happen and continuously finds ways to win. And, he did it in New Mexico State, he does it at Vanderbilt. I don't know what the dude does. He's a magician out there, and it's awesome to see because I love, Vanderbilt being good at football. I think it's better for the state of Tennessee and especially Nashville with how the Titans are doing. Sorry, my Titans fans, didn't mean to catch straight. We'll talk about you guys later. back to Vanderbilt. Just like I was saying, Diego Pavia and them boys are unbelievable, and they're better players and coaches. And the SEC, Utah State is always a consistently good team in the Mountain West, but just they're going to be outmatched this weekend versus Vanderbilt. Boom, baby. Next game, we got number 1 Ohio State versus Washington at Husky Stadium, Seattle, Washington. What color is my shirt? Now, it might not be Washington purple, but it's purple. So you know what we're going to do? We're riding with the Washington Cougars. Washington Cougars. No, the Washington Huskies, Washington State is the Cougars. So riding with Washington Huskies. I like their quarterback. I like their running back. And I think they're the better team. I haven't seen enough from Ohio State this year that has convinced me that they're this world-beating team, especially after what I've seen from Texas. The thing I do like a lot about Ohio State, though, and I will give it, is Matt Patricia on the defensive end, coaching them boys up defense coordinator, because what he does and what he knows, is he was an NFL coach, and, he had that bad stint in Detroit, so everyone thinks he's a garbage coach. He's one of the best coaches, defense coaches for sure, and just coaches in general. So don't sleep on what he can do on the defensive end of the ball, which is where I think Ohio State could win this game. I don't think they're going to win on the offensive end of the ball. I don't think Julian Sands showed me anything that makes me think he's some world beater either. And again, he's only 3 starts into his college career. It takes a little bit longer, but I'm so sick and tired of this. Like I said, the 5-star, the hype. Diego Pavia is another example of not being a 5-star hype player and being one of the better quarterbacks. Same with Haynes King. All these boys, it's like this hype train is bullshit, man. What has it gotten anyone? So I like Washington. I've seen enough from them. I think Desmond Williams is a quarterback. I saw enough from them last week, especially on the offensive end of the ball, that they could win this game. But it's going to be a battle nonetheless. Ohio State's a really, really good team. They have really good defense, really good offense, of course, coming off the national championship last year. Ryan Day, feeling good. So I'm riding with Washington still, but that's just my point of view. Next game I think is going to be the best game of the weekend. We got LSU, Ole Miss. Before anything, I'm going Ole Miss. So first reason, and there's no order because it could be stupid, but first reason, Kiffin's daughter is dating an LSU linebacker, so he has some vengeance and a reason to do it, and he said take the over. I like Ole Miss. I like Kiffin going with the switch to Chambliss as the quarterback instead of Austin. I'm looking him up, guys. Sorry. Austin Chambers, I think. Is it Chambers? Yeah, okay. Nonetheless, whatever his name is, they changed the starting quarterback to Chambliss because the original starting quarterback was hurt last week, so Chambliss got the start, and you know what? I'll tell you the truth, he's the better quarterback of the two. I've watched both, and when they were trading in, I think it was 2 games ago against Arkansas, when they were switching off, I was like, this backup quarterback's much better, and I don't know. I think Kiffin just wanted to go with the senior, or the older player to give him the opportunity. But Kiffin's a winner nonetheless, and now he decided that this is the kid. And shout out Ole Miss. Shout out Jackson Dart start, and we'll get to you in a second. But, Kiffin, that's you as well. So I just think, and especially on the opposite end of the ball with LSU, I haven't seen anything from LSU now that has impressed me all year. They beat Florida by 10 in Florida's end. They beat Clemson, and Clemson is now, what, 1-2? 1-3. Are they 1-3? 1-3. So, you could say I love Garrett Nussmeier, though. I think he's a great player. I think LSU's defense is really, really good. But in a game of coaching matchups with Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly, I'm always going to go with Lane Kiffin. I think he's a better coach. People rally on him better. And I just think Ole Miss is a better team, to be honest. This is a team that I feel like was starting the season off slow but ascending rapidly. And Chambliss is to be attributed to that, and it's going to help. So it's going to be a battle all day. It's in Oxford, Mississippi. It's going to be a battle. But I like Ole Miss in this one. Next game, another great game. We got Texas A&M versus Auburn. Texas A&M, number 9 in the country, versus Auburn. 3-1, coming off a tough loss. Fell out of the rankings, coming off a tough loss at Oklahoma. So kind of rough that you took them out of the top 10 rank or top 25 rankings when they lost on the road to a top 25 team, and they got sacked 10 times and almost won that game. So, I don't make the rankings. We got some weird teams in the top 25, are they better than BYU? I'd argue Auburn's better than BYU. So, Texas A&M at home, though, I think it's going to be a tough uphill battle for Auburn to win. But again, it is SEC. I like Texas A&M's quarterback, though, at Marcellus Reed. Is it Marcellus? Or is it Marcus? Marcel. Okay, Marcel. My bad, bro. My bad. Shout out Marcel Reed, though. He's been balling this year. I really liked what I've seen from him. On the other end, Jackson Arnold's the quarterback of Auburn. I saw one of the coolest things he did was some Oklahoma fan was chirping him, and he's like, "You wish you were me." And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong in that because they probably do wish that they were him, to be honest. So, gosh, man, this is a tough game for me. I'm going to go with Texas A&M because I rode with them over Notre Dame, and I think they're a good team. But I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn won. I think Auburn's a really good team, and it's SEC, so anything can happen, right? Next game, Big Ten, barn burner. We got Iowa, the Hawkeyes, the best team ever, versus Indiana, who's coming off that amazing win, that dominating win against Illinois, and I think they keep riding it. I mean, Kurt Cignetti says it. Google me. That's all. That's all he says. So I like Indiana in the game. I think the team's better this year than they were last year, and they already made the playoff last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana's kind of that. What would it be? The fourth tier team? Yeah, fourth tier team in the Big Ten that makes the college football playoff. But you got to watch out for USC on the other side. A couple of those dark horses out there, and but Mendoza from Cal transfer playing really great out of his mind this year. So Indiana, I think, handles that game. Iowa, though, Iowa always going to play tough defense and just try to surprise people. But you know how it is. So next game, we got 4-0 Mississippi State versus Tennessee, who's 3-1. Of course, Tennessee coming off that horrible loss to Georgia. Just an atrocious job, just an atrocious choke job. That sounds about, that sounds about right. That sounds about Georgia. So get a little bit of sunlight in here. But Tennessee, yeah, I'm going with Tennessee. I've loved what I've seen from Joey Aguilar this year. I've loved what I've seen from Josh Heupel. I think he got Joey Aguilar looking like, a great quarterback. And sometimes all it takes is a coach to believe in you to really accelerate your game and play at a higher level. So Tennessee's no slouch in the SEC. They lost a really bad game to Georgia. I mean, you can say the kicker, but it never comes down to only the kicker. But just an unacceptable type of loss for Tennessee. But they get the bounce back and show why they're still a top team in the SEC. But Mississippi State, on the other hand, 4-0. Any given Saturday for football, especially in the SEC, I think it's going to be more of a battle than people think. But Tennessee is the better team, and we have Tennessee Volunteers. Next game, we got Arizona, Iowa State. I've really only watched one Iowa State game this year. I haven't heard much of Arizona, so let me preface by saying that. But Iowa State, Rocco Becht and Matt Campbell have a wonderful camaraderie and teamwork that they work together. And I love Iowa State in this game. I think they just have, they got the team, and team still means a lot no matter what people say. They play for each other. They want to work hard for each other, and they want to win games together. And I think that, and more so for the coach. And I think that goes a long way, especially in college, with the transfer portal and all this type of stuff, that they, realize that this guy is what he is, and we're going to make it happen. Iowa State, Big 12, kind of probably the easiest Power 4 conference, I would say. Yeah, by far it's the easiest. So we will see. I like Iowa State in that game, and we're going from there. Next game in Beaver Stadium, we got Penn State, Oregon. First really big matchup of the year in the Big Ten. I guess Nebraska, Michigan was pretty big, you could say, but Penn State number 3, Oregon number 6. Oregon's got, of course, Dante Moore, and then Penn State's got Drew Aller, who I've never been sold on Drew Aller. I still have yet to see something that's like, this guy is the truth, and this guy should be, 5-star ranked as high as he is, top quarterback. Yeah, that's they went as transfer portal, got him a lot of receivers, which I think is going to help, as well as the defense is really, really good on Penn State, and they're at home. So I feel like a lot of people are going with Oregon on this game. I see the odds are for Penn State, but I just feel like a lot of analysts and people are going to go with Oregon. I think, Dan Lanning, what he's been able to do in Eugene, Oregon, has been wonderful, and revamping the team after, you lost a lot of your good players last year. It's kind of a whole new team. But this is a true test for Oregon. It's a long flight across the country to Pennsylvania from Oregon. It's going to be rocking in Pennsylvania. They're going to have the white out. It's going to be dark. It's going to be doing crazy. And that's kind of how it is. So we're going to go with Penn State in the game. I want to see Drew Aller take that next step and prove that he is a quarterback that can win a national championship and even be a great quarterback at the next level. So we'll see what happens there. Oregon scares me because they're Oregon, but everyone says this is Penn State's year. I want to try to believe that it is and prove that it is here, and this is how they do it if they win this game, and we will see. Bang! Next game, another great battle game. We got Georgia versus Alabama. Georgia hasn't lost a home game since before COVID. Will Muschamp and South Carolina is who they lost to before. And Alabama, I think they said, has consistently beat Georgia over the last couple of years. So, man, I don't know. On one hand, I like what I saw from Georgia and Gunnar Stockton at the end of that Tennessee game. He kind of gained a lot of respect for me and showed who he is. But Alabama has played only good since Florida State, and now we're seeing that Florida State is no slouch. Florida State's not no slouch team that they lost to on the road. It wasn't like they were Florida State last year. If that was the case, yeah. But Tyler Simpson, what I've seen from him has only been straight improvement, man. He looks so poised, so consistent. And I really like what I've seen from him. But Georgia, man, the thing with Georgia that I hate, that I don't want to pick on, is Mike Bobo. And I'll go on here every single week and say that Mike Bobo is the problem with Georgia and why they won't win a national championship as long as he's the coach. They never won a national championship when he was the offense coordinator. They won when Todd Monken was it. Todd Monken leaves. They haven't done shit since then. Is it fucking this? Is the team? I would argue Carson Beck's better than Stetson. I mean, you argue with. I mean, yeah, Stetson has 2 rings, so yeah, you could say he's better, but pure talent-wise, I would say Carson Beck's better. I don't know. That's just what I would say. Most people probably say that as well. So is it the system or is it the coach? It's Mike Bobo, and fuck it. Scares me. I'm going against Jordan. I'm going with Bama. I think Ty Simpson gets it done. Kalen DeBoer needs a big win to kind of stay on the good graces of Alabama's fan base, or else he might be gone sooner rather than later, because they don't take losing very well down there in Tuscaloosa, and I'm sick and tired of Bobo. And I think Georgia's at home, which is tough. I think, God, I can't. Do I want to bet against Georgia at home? Wow, it's a tough one. I'm gonna stick with it. It might be wrong, but I'm gonna stick with it because I think Bobo's the problem. So we're gonna go with Alabama. Next game, Mizzou and Massachusetts. I'm not gonna say much about this game. Mizzou 4-0, UMass 0-3. Missouri should kick their ass. 43.5. They should handle them pretty easily. So that's that game. Next game, we got BYU and Colorado. I think could be a better game than people think, but Colorado hasn't really showed me anything this year that makes me think that they're going to beat this really, really good team in the Big 12. Caden Salter, for everyone that says he was this big special quarterback, and he had great stats at Liberty, and that's awesome. But he has not played up to that standard at all at Colorado, and that's how I feel about that. He really hasn't done that in a way. So I think BYU gets the win. Bear Bachmeier wearing number 47 as quarterback, I think is so baller and so sick, and we're gonna ride with them because I think that they're the better team. And as much as I love the Buffaloes and CU in the setting, I just don't think they get it done, man. I really don't. And yeah, so that's that. And then as you know, we always talk about a couple of my favorite teams that I have. So we got Colorado State versus Washington State. I'm going with Washington State, bro. I got nothing to say about Colorado State other than you guys you're Colorado State. You always get so close and then you choke because that's what you love to do, and that's what CSU does. So yeah, I'm hammering Washington State in this game. I hate to fade my own team, but I'm not going to bet it, but I'm fading them because they're not that good. Wyoming's on a bye as well as SMU, so we don't have to talk about that. That was college football breakdown week 5. Really love the games this weekend. Really going to be locked in and see what happens and give you guys the best breakdown review you've ever seen. Because again, this is the best talk show on the internet, sports talk show on the internet. Not even close. It's why I get paid the big bucks. So Without further ado, let's flip over to the NFL, which is my favorite, and Thursday Night Football kicking off tonight with a great, great game. So we got Cardinals versus Seahawks. Cardinals at home. Man, I think this is a really, really tough game. And I hate to say it's going to be Dill's toss-up of the week immediately, but I think it is going to be Dill's toss-up of the week immediately because what I've seen from, Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks is, of course, the defense is really good. Mike McDonald was one of the best defense coordinators in the league, and now the head coach there. And then Sam Darnold, I don't know why people were sleeping on him, acting like he wasn't good. Consistently showing why he was good. He was just in a terrible system in New York, which always happens. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at all these quarterbacks that leave, and they become good. So going back to my point of systems matter and coaching matters, yeah, it does. But back to the game, Seahawks Cardinals. Kyler's been playing really good this year. Prayers up to James Conner. That was a really tough injury, man. Hate to see maybe the end of your career be like that. I really hope not. But Trey McBride has been nothing but awesome. I will say Marvin Harrison has been less than stellar, which I'm not happy with. And then Seahawks on the other side, Sam Darnold's been great. The running game's been good. JSN is ascending again because Ohio State is wide receiver U. And then we got Torrey Horton from CSU. Two CSU boys playing against each other. We got Torrey Horton, as I said, on Seattle, and then Trey McBride on the Cardinals. So really hyped for that game. Man, this is a tough game. We got Seattle favored by 1.5. Wow. My boy Jason 15 is a Seahawks guy. Man, I want to go with. Let's go with the Hawks. Let's go with the Hawks. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna come down to the end. I think it's gonna come down to whoever's last possession. They probably win by a field goal, but we're gonna go with the Hawks. I've just been a little bit more impressed by them. But again, both the Cardinals and the Hawks have lost on last second field goals to the 49ers. So Cardinals at home might make the difference. I don't know. I think it's a toss-up, and we'll go from there. Next game, we got the game in Dublin, 8:30 a.m., NFL Network, Vikings-Steelers. Really, really good game, 2-2-1 teams. Vikings have looked really good, especially on the defensive end of the ball. And Carson Wentz coming in, I think, is an upgrade, honestly, from J.J. McCarthy, which I've been saying because I think J.J. is kind of overrated. And then on the other end of the ball, Steelers, Aaron Rodgers has looked good, and he's played within what he needs to, but the defense has been horrible. A team that usually prides himself on defense and running has been horrible on both ends of that. So I think the Vikings get the win here. As much as I love the Steelers, I don't think they've played up to par or played up to how they should be playing. And that defense, coached by Brian Flores, is one of the best defenses in the league. They get turnovers, make confusion, and make things happen. And then the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers has been playing good, but the defense hasn't been there. And again, the Vikings, I think if J.J. McCarthy starts, I honestly probably go with the Steelers. But because Carson Wentz started, I'm going to go with the Vikings. So, yeah. Next game, we got Commanders, Falcons. Falcons at home. Man, it's such an easy pick for me. I'm going with Commanders. Falcons are fucking – Michael Penix, is he blind? Does he not know how to fucking throw the ball? Like, what the fuck, man, have I seen from Michael Penix? Honestly. Like – some of the things I've seen from Michael Penix is they need to check his eyesight, like Jameis Winston. I mean, Drake just hasn't made good decisions, hasn't made good plays all year. Falcons have not looked good. Raheem Morris can say what he wants. I mean, not even giving Kirk Cousins an opportunity for a quarterback battle is ridiculous. After especially what I've seen from Michael Penix Jr. I mean, yeah, 600 yards in 3 games, so he's averaging about 20 yards a game, which is average, and 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That's a quarterback that you want starting for your NFL team. Like, come on, man. Bijan's trying out there. I mean, Bijan's been balling out consistently, and Falcons' defense is playing all right, but that offense and Michael Penix is horrible. So until they at least give Kirk Cousins a chance to start, because I think Michael Penix is sitting there in his little, cushy place, like, oh, I'm the starting quarterback now. I got no competition. Nothing's going to change. And then on the other end of the ball, Commanders with Mariota, with Jane Daniels. I know Jane Daniels stays healthy. I think the Commanders are a better team. Dan Quinn, is a great coach. Has always been a great coach. Has always consistently, made things happen. Jane Daniels is a great quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury and them. I just think the Commanders, even if Jane Daniels is shaky, they just got a really good team and a good system in place that helps them win those games. So we're going with the Commanders. Falcons, as I said, are just Michael Penix is in. Next game, of course, we got to come to my favorite team, the Buffalo Bills versus the New Orleans Saints. We're not going to spend too much time on it because they're playing the Saints. I'm going with the Bills, guys. I know that's a surprise. the Bills is a surprise, I know. But again, Josh Allen, best quarterback in the NFL, has been the best quarterback in the NFL for the last 5 years, have been saying it. People that don't think that are tripping or don't watch football. Mahomes isn't even close, hasn't been close in a couple of years. Yeah, he beats him every year, I get it, but it's not Mahomes, it's the team. James Cook has been playing awesome since he got his new contract, which is great to see. I always love James Cook, and glad to see him balling out. And then on the other end, the Saints, man, it's probably the worst team in the NFL this year, unfortunately. Kellen Moore kind of went to a dire situation. And Spencer Rattler hasn't even really been playing that bad, but the team is just not consistently there and not consistently win. So I like the Bills. Saints, I hope they get a win this year, but we'll see. They're not very good. Maybe Arch Manning. I don't know. We'll see. Next game, we got Browns-Lions. Browns coming off, the upset victory over the Packers, and Lions coming off that great win against Baltimore, which, again, for everyone saying that Detroit was going to step back or this and that, no, they never were. They never were. Dan Campbell is that good of a coach, a motivator, a culture setter. He's done all this. There's a reason that they play the way they do. They take Dan Campbell's attitude and personality. So, yeah, it sucks losing your coordinators. That's horrible. Eagles have had it happen too, but Eagles have been consistently good since they've been losing their coordinators. And I don't see what the Lions can, especially when the head coach is still there. So, but on the other end, the Browns, I think the Browns are one of those teams that is kind of like the Patriots, where their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games, and they're a really good team, but it just comes down to if the offense is going to make the plays when they need to. So, they could always be a shocker and get a surprise, but I think the Lions are a really, really good team, and I still think they're the best team in that division after what I saw. So, Browns, Joe Flacco's been playing okay. I don't know if they're going to make a switch anytime soon. 1-2 isn't great, but, got a big win against the Packers last week. So, but Detroit, man, Dave Montgomery's, their running game, that two-headed monster of Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery is unreal. Amon-Ra St. Brown's been balling, as always. And Jared Goff, again, consistently proving why he's still a great quarterback. Everyone that ever says bad about him clearly has never actually watched and just listens to the clickbait that ESPN puts out every fucking week. Talking about Jared Goff sucks, but Jordan Love's good. It's fucking sickening because Jared Goff is 10 times the quarterback Jordan Love is. So I don't want to hear it. Yes, he's been in the league longer, but whatever. Next game, we got Patriots-Panthers. Patriots at home, Panthers on the road. I like the Patriots in the game. Panthers last week showed me a lot against the Falcons, kind of dominate on them. And Panthers are another team with the Browns and Patriots that, is always going to be tough out. But I think the Patriots, in both of their losses, has outplayed the team. They just haven't – I don't think they have that winning mentality, that winning mindset yet that you need to win those games because they've outplayed their opponents in both their losses. They should have beat the Steelers last week, but Drake May has really impressed me, of course. It helps having Mike Vrabel out there, a great coach and great coordinator. But Patriots are a good team. They're going to be one of those teams that probably is going to, surprise some teams and get some wins that they shouldn't, but also still rebuilding. I don't know. I like the Patriots a lot. They've always been a good team, so, good teams don't stay down that long. So Drake May looks like the right choice quarterback, which is awesome, and I love to see that. And then the Panthers on the other end, Bryce Young, has been a lot better this year. Tutorial McMillian's looked great. Sorry. And Chuba Hubbard's still running good. So the Panthers' defense has always been consistently good. They got J.C. Horn out there, and they got, I think it's Derek Brown as their D tackle. It would have been great if they had that dude named, I think it's like Brian Burns, that dude that's on the Giants. That's, oh, you mean the one they traded. Yeah. So, anyways, Panthers, decent team. Dave Canales really building a good system there, and I love to see that. So, next game, we got Giants-Chargers. Of course, Giants news of the week. Jackson Dart pushed into the starting quarterback spot. For those of you who don't know, Russell Wilson was the starting quarterback of the New York Giants before Jackson Dart has been inserted into the lineup. Unfortunately, they have a tough game this week against the San Diego. Every time. Los Angeles Chargers. It is San Diego. I don't care what the NFL did. This is so stupid that they're in LA. First of all, who wants to be in LA? No offense. Next, so Chargers, Justin Herbert has been on a tear this year. He's got the Madison Beer Magic, bro. I can't say anything other than that. He's got Madison Beer Magic, and I get it. That's all I'm going to say. I get it, because damn. And then on the other end of it, the Giants, I don't think the Giants are that bad. Their defense is really good. They should have probably beat the Dallas Cowboys. They should have done this. And I don't think Russ has played that bad. It's just something about, the energy or day ball or whatever. And I think this pushing Jackson Dart in the starting lineup is going to give them that shot of adrenaline, that shot of energy that they need. And it's going to show. It's going to show on the field, and that's the difference. That's what I think has been the Giants' problem is they haven't had belief that they could do it. And that's half the battle, man. Like, when you know you're not a good team, you're probably not going to play like that. So you got to believe you're a good team and make it happen. And then the Chargers, like I said, Harbaugh's been an amazing coach. The defense is great. They're looking like that best team in the AFC West. I thought it could be the Broncos, but it seemed like the Chargers more so. And wow. And I think the Chargers get the win. I wish I could say the Giants do, but Jackson Dart, I mean, he's gonna sling it. I know Dayball, and he's worried about his job. He's gonna let Jackson Dart sling that thing around to Malik Neighbors, hopefully. So maybe they get an upset at home, but I like the Chargers. Like, again, a long cross country trip, could be a difference. So next game, we got 2-3-0 teams, which is awesome. We got Buccaneers at home versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles coming off the second half last week where they looked like the best team in the NFL. First half, they looked like probably the worst two teams in the NFL. So what I'll say to the Eagles is throw the ball more. Trust Jalen Hurts to do what Jalen Hurts does. He always makes the right decision. He always does good plays. I don't know why you're trying this running thing where, I know Saquon rushed previously for 200 yards each on the Rams defense, but you don't think the third time that they were going to be like, hey, maybe we should just stop Saquon Barkley from running all over us. Maybe so. But, in the second half, threw the ball around. A.J. Brown got back to A.J. Brown doing things and Jalen Hurts. And then the Buccaneers, found a way to win. They always find a way to win games. The Jets had that blocked field goal for a touchdown that should have ended the game, but Baker said, nope, I got it, guys. Let me put the team on my back. We're going to drive them field, score, and win the game here. So the Cardiac Buccaneers, Cardiac Baker, they love doing it. They're a really good team. They're 3-0 this year. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I love them. I think they're a hard-nosed, hard-fought team, and they play that way. They play like that angry dog that you don't want to get bit by. But I think the Eagles, the Eagles are going to put up a fight. Saquon Barkley's no joke, but Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka, another OSU Ohio State receiver, stand-up Ohio State, balling out. Mike Evans, hopefully, he's all right, but that team's still really consistently good, and Todd Bowles got him playing great. So next game, woo! Yeah, here we go. Titans-Texans, woo! 0-3. I'm going with Houston. I haven't seen anything from Tennessee Titans that has made me think that they're even worth talking about for a minute. Not talking about, but just picking to win games. I mean, they're atrocious, man. I mean, their offense is fucking horrible. Who the fuck is their offense coordinator? How do these fuckers get jobs? Honestly, they run 50 fucking screenplays a fucking game, and then outside tackle run every time. They never fucking run inside the tackles. They keep throwing to Kelvin fucking Ridley, who is an absolute fucking bum. Kelvin Ridley is a bum, man. He cannot catch the ball and save his life. What the fuck happened, dude? Honestly. Because you have been nothing but garbage since you came to Tennessee, and it's unacceptable. He can't catch the ball. I would not have him out there on my field. Brian Callahan, for being this offensive guru, is terrible. He hasn't done anything. Cam Ward looks worse than he ever has. So what is it? It's you, buddy. And then on the other end, Texans, 0-3. Couple of tough losses this year. C.J. Stroud has really regressed since his rookie year. Has not looked the same at all. And honestly, after he was trying to big bro Caleb last year, it's like, dude, come on. Couple of years of consistency. I don't think he'll continuously stay down. His O-line has been really bad, which I think is getting in his head, and he's not trusting it, which I get. But now it's been 2 years of consistently being not good since your rookie year. So I think they get back on track. The defense is good on the Texans, and they beat the Tennessee Titans, which they should, because the Titans are, yeah. Next game, we got a game of Colts 3-0 versus Rams 2-1. Colts, the surprise 3-0 team in the NFL. Daniel Jones playing like an MVP candidate. Again, that's what happens when you get away from toxic situations or toxic anything or bad situations. So let that be a lesson to all my men, women, anyone in here. If you're in a bad situation, go somewhere you wanted and see how much you thrive and succeed. And look at the Colts. So I always knew Shane Steichen was a good coach. Jonathan Taylor has always been a back. Michael Pittman Jr. has always been, a ball and receiver. So Colts are a really good team. Defense is really good as well, but the Rams coming off that really tough loss to Philadelphia, game they should have kind of let get away from them. Of course, Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. Still, Puka Nacua he just eats up, man. He just eats all game, and Kyron Williams is that dude, and the defense is playing well. And I like the Rams getting a bounce back win, giving the Colts their first loss of the season. Rams at home, so get the 3-1, beating the Colts, putting them to 3-1 for the season. But Colts have been nothing but good. And again, this is a game that wouldn't surprise me if the Colts, kind of make something happen. So, but I like the Rams in the game. I just think the Rams are the better team, and they're going to get the win here. Next game, Jags 49ers. I think this is a harder game than most people think. We got the 49ers who are 3-0 versus the Jaguars who are 2-1. Ricky Parasol, first I want to say shout out you, bro. After getting after everything you went through last year to being where you are now is awesome. Completely balling out this year, which is great to see, and it's a step in the right direction. So on the 49ers, I don't know if Mac Jones and Brock Purdy are going to start. That's still up for debate. I think they're both pretty similar quarterbacks, to be honest, and how they play the game and how Kyle Shanahan kind of runs the offense through them. Losing Nick Bosa on the defensive end is going to be really tough for the 49ers. I think he's that anchor of that defense that kind of makes it go. So we'll kind of see how that defense plays going forward now that he's out for the year, unfortunately. And then, the Christian McCaffrey looks like he's back getting fantasy, just doing what Christian McCaffrey does, which is get catches and just be a baller. So with all that said, I'm going with the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence has played better. He's played better. I don't think he's played great. He's played better. But for a number one overall pick, he hasn't shown that he's that. But on the other end, Brian Thomas Jr. is great. Travis Etienne looks like he's running really, really hard again and consistently. Travis Hunter eventually's got to figure it out, I think. And again, Jaguars have found ways to win games that they consistently have lost in the past, and I think that defense is playing really good. So we're going to ride with the Jags, going on the road, beating 49ers, giving them their first loss as well, which I think is going to be a tough game, but we'll see. Next game, we got Chiefs-Ravens. Chiefs Ravens. 2-1-2 teams, which is a surprise of the year. Both of them are 1-2. I'm riding with Baltimore, man. I am. I got to go with the Ravens. I think Lamar's playing better this year. I think the Ravens are a better team. Their defense is really bad, which is bad because they put up a lot of points. But the Ravens are a better team. John Harbaugh is a better coach. And I haven't seen anything really from the Chiefs this year that has impressed me. I think Mahomes has looked very average at best, which I've been saying consistently that he's not that good, that he's plateaued a lot since he was balling out. And, he has injuries all over the field. Travis Kelce's getting older and stuff, so that hurts a lot. And that's a lot of the problem, I think, with Mahomes is he doesn't have, hey, Travis, get open. Hey, Travis, dump. That was his whole game for the first couple of years of his career, which is why he was balling out, which I get. And Tyreek go long. Hey, bro, I get it. But Josh Allen has never had Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, even Travis Kelce. Stephon's way down here. I don't think Stephon Tyreek Hill's goated, whatever. So Chiefs defense haven't looked the same either, and they just haven't looked like the Chiefs. Getting Xavier Worthy back is going to help that offense, I think, a lot. And then Rashid Rice in, 2 more weeks? Yeah, because week 4, 2 more weeks is going to really help that team because he's that much of a difference maker. But this week is the week we're in, and the Ravens are going to win. I think, the tough loss to the Bills and tough loss to the Lions. That's two really, really good teams, 2 of the top teams in the NFL. You could say 2 of the top 3 teams in the NFL they have lost to. And the Chiefs, haven't impressed. So we're going to ride with Baltimore in that game, going on the road to Kansas City. It's going to be a hostile environment, especially with the Chiefs being 1-2. But Derrick Henry figures it out, holds on to the ball, and Lamar keeps balling out like he always does. Next game, we got Bears, Raiders. I ain't fading my Bears. I ain't fading them after what I saw last week. We're going with the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, wow, man. He looked great last week. Again, it is the Cowboys defense. But with that all being said, it was the Cowboys defense, but he did what he was supposed to do. So on that sense, what else do you want from him? He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He balled out, he got the stats, and they won the game, and he made the throws when he needed to. Bears defense looked a lot better. They and that's impressive because the Dallas offense is really good. So the Bears defense looking good against them makes me have a little bit of positivity towards them. But they allowed a lot of yards, but when it came down to the red zone and big situations, they got the stops they needed to. And like I said, I think Rome unfortunately has ascended above DJ Moore in that wide receiver room as well. Some about DJ, he just doesn't seem right. He doesn't seem like he has the passion for it or he's in there mentally. So we'll kind of see. I like what I saw from Ben Johnson, and I like his after game speech, man. I'm so inspired by him. I think he's just such a good dude in the truth. And then on the other end of the ball, I'm a Geno hater. I've always been a Geno hater. I'll preface with that, but I just don't think he's that good. I think he'll put up stats, but he's not going to win games. He's not going to win you big games and playoff games. So Ashton Jonte's unfortunately looks kind of as well because their offense is kind of all over the place. Raiders have not impressed me at all. Pete Carroll's system doesn't seem like it's fully taken effect yet, but knowing how things work, the Bears will start that catalyst. So I don't think so. I think the Bears get the win. The Bears are, I think, a better team than people give them credit for. I mean, if they're 1-2 and the Chiefs and Ravens are 1-2, are the Bears that garbage? Honestly, because are the Chiefs and Ravens, then are Ravens and Chiefs garbage? Honestly, so we'll see. Chicago going into Las Vegas getting the win. Last game of the Sunday night is the Sunday night game, Packers-Cowboys. Michael Parsons' revenge game. That's all I'm going to say. Go Packers. Cowboys' defense is atrocious. They get no pass rush, which it'd be nice if they had some guy named Michael Parsons out there that could wreak havoc. Oh, wait, they traded him because, I don't know, because Jerry thinks it's the running NFL still these days. But hopefully CD plays. CD, being out for their offense really kills them as well. But I will say Javonte Williams has impressed a lot this year, and he's kind of built back up. That offense is really good. George Pickens is getting in control of the, getting more in tune with Dak and figuring out what he likes and how he does things. And then Jake Ferguson, tight end for them, been balling out all year. And then on the other end, the Packers, of course, coming off a really fluky loss to the Browns, which say what you want, but, it happens. It's the NFL. But Jordan Love still proven to me to this day that he will be the reason that the Packers do not probably win a Super Bowl is because Jordan Love. I think he's very mid. The thing with Jordan Love is he'll have games where he'll throw like 5 touchdowns and 300 yards, and then the next game he'll go out there and throw for like 120 yards and 2 picks and like 40% completion percentage. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of the Jordan Love experience that I've noticed so far in the career. But their defense is really, really good, and he's got the weapons around him to make it happen. So I like LaFleur. Also, he actually looks like Mike LaFleur actually coaches. The Cowboys just consistently look out-coached, don't look like they know what they're doing, and not that. Next game is Monday night. We got 2 Monday night games this week. We got Jets-Dolphins, the first one, and then Bengals-Broncos. So for the first one, we're going to go with the Jets. Justin Fields, I think, is coming back, I hope. And I just think the Jets have been this close on a lot of games, and I think they're at a point in their rebuild where they actually have belief and consistency, and you actually see something on the field that you could be proud of as a Jets fan. So I like Justin Fields. I like the Jets defense a lot. They have the weapons. They have Breece Hall. They have Garrett Wilson. And the Dolphins, the Dolphins on the other hand, though, too, I've been impressed with the Dolphins after what I saw when they played Buffalo last week. They actually had some heart. They looked like they had some belief still that they could do this with Mike McDaniel. So I think that shows a lot to Mike McDaniel's coaching style and just how much the players like him and play for him. But I'm just not a Tua guy. I have never been sold on Tua. I don't think, his thing has always been accuracy, but it's like, okay, so how does he beat you though? Like accuracy is great. Most quarterbacks in the NFL have accuracy. That's why they're in the NFL. So what is his, X factor? He doesn't really have one. And I think Justin Fields has that with his legs. So I like the Jets in the game. I think they go down there and get their first win. And then on the other end, we got Bengals-Broncos. Broncos 1-2, Bengals 2-1. Broncos are a lot better than their 1-2 record. Bengals last week, Jake Browning didn't look great at all, especially after when he came in a couple years ago for Joe Burrow. He looked great. But Broncos 1-2, couple tough losses. I'm going with the Broncos. I think they get back on track. Bo Nix hasn't played up to the standards that I think he wants to play, and Sean Payton thinks he should play. But again, the Broncos defense is amazing. And we saw what happened with the Bengals with a good defense last week with the Vikings, and I think the Broncos defense is even better. So I think the Broncos get the win here. They start getting on track. And the Bengals, unfortunately, without Joe Burrow, I think might kind of fall to the wayside. But we'll see. So, boom, baby. That was 50 minutes, 5-0. As I said, the best sports talk show on the internet and everywhere. I don't care what anyone says. ESPN ain't got shit on Dill Talk Sports. Really excited for everyone to come on. We're gonna have some guest appearances from some NFL players here pretty soon, and maybe another podcast or another video host that I get to kind of bounce ideas off and we get to bullshit about football. So, gonna be a really good couple of months, man. Appreciate all of your support, guys. Again, I love doing this, and I'm so happy to be here with y'all. So, keep building your dynasty. Keep going up every single day, and God bless. This was Dill Talk Sports, Week 4 NFL, Week 5 football preview. Deuces.